Why are Sigma males so often misunderstood as anything but nice guys? Let's cut through the noise. Sigma males aren't nice guys by society's shallow playbook. In a world obsessed with people-pleasing and performative kindness, the Sigma male refuses to play the game. He doesn't twist himself into a pretzel to earn applause or dilute his authenticity to fit into cookie-cutter expectations. His compass? A relentless commitment to integrity, even when it means clashing with the crowd. This isn't arrogance or apathy, it's a quiet rebellion against the theatrics of superficial niceness. While others chase validation through smiles and compliance, Sigmas operate in a realm of raw honesty. They won't sugarcoat truths or perform emotional labor to soothe fragile egos. To outsiders, this reads as coldness. But peel back the layers, and you'll find a man who values depth over decorum, substance over scripted charm. So here's the real question: is niceness just a mask we wear to avoid discomfort? The Sigma forces us to confront this. While the nice guy trades his authenticity for approval, the Sigma prioritizes self-respect, choosing solitude over sycophancy, principles over popularity. His version of kindness isn't loud or performative, it's rooted in boundaries, discernment, and actions that speak louder than hollow words. Join us as we dismantle the myths and unveil the misunderstood ethics of the Sigma male. This isn't just about personality types, it's a manifesto for unapologetic authenticity in a world addicted to facades. Welcome to the Sigma male community. Let's redefine what nice really means. Number 1. Action over words. This principle emphasizes the importance of demonstrating one's intentions and capabilities through deeds rather than promises or verbal assurances. It's about valuing tangible results over eloquent speeches or commitments. People who follow this principle understand that trust and respect are earned through consistent action, making their word more reliable when spoken because it's backed by a history of follow-through. Now, let's really dive into this idea of action over words. Think about it in your own life. How often have you heard someone say grand things, make huge promises, only to have them fall completely flat? We all have, right? It's almost a cliché at this point. But this principle goes deeper than just recognizing empty promises. It's about understanding that true credibility, the kind that really sticks and makes people believe in you, is built brick by brick with actual, demonstrable actions. It's like saying, "Show me, don't just tell me." When someone consistently does what they say they're going to do, even if it's in small ways at first, a pattern starts to emerge. This pattern becomes their reputation. It's not about being loud or boastful. In fact, often, the people who live by action over words are quieter, more reserved in their pronouncements. They let their work speak for itself. And because of this, when they do speak, their words carry weight. People listen because they know there's substance behind them, a history of follow-through. It's about building a personal brand of reliability, where your yes actually means yes, and your I'll be there actually means you'll be there, on time and ready to go. This kind of consistency is magnetic. It draws people in because in a world full of talk, genuine action is a rare and incredibly valuable commodity. Number 2. Kindness is tactical, not obligatory. Here, kindness is seen as a strategic choice rather than an automatic response. It's about being kind with intent, where each act of kindness serves a purpose or aligns with one's values. This approach avoids the pitfalls of spreading oneself too thin by being kind indiscriminately and instead focuses kindness where it will have the most impact or where it is genuinely deserved. Expanding on this idea that kindness is tactical, not obligatory is really interesting, isn't it? It's not about being cold or unfeeling, quite the opposite. It's about being thoughtful about your kindness. Think of it like this: if you were to give away money, would you just throw it out randomly to the wind, hoping it lands somewhere helpful? Probably not. You'd likely want to give it where it could make a real difference, maybe to a cause you believe in, or to someone who genuinely needs it and would appreciate it. Tactical kindness is similar. It's recognizing that kindness isn't a limitless resource to be spent haphazardly. It's a powerful tool that can be used strategically to create positive change, to build meaningful connections, or to simply make the world a little bit better in specific, targeted ways. It's about moving away from the idea that you must be kind to everyone, all the time, even when it's draining you or being taken advantage of. Instead, it's about consciously choosing when and where to extend your kindness for maximum impact. This might mean focusing on showing kindness to those who reciprocate, to those who are struggling and genuinely need support, or even to those who might be challenging but where a small act of kindness could de-escalate a situation or open a door to better understanding. It's about kindness with intention, kindness that is purposeful and effective, rather than just a default, sometimes depleted, response. It's about being kind because you choose to, because you see the value in it, not because you feel obligated or pressured to be universally nice. Number 3, they don't fear being hated. This reflects a strong sense of self and personal integrity where one's actions and decisions are not swayed by the fear of disapproval or dislike. It's about valuing one's own principles over the need to be universally liked, understanding that authentic living often means not everyone will agree with or like you, and that's acceptable. Let's really unpack this idea of not fearing being hated. It's a powerful stance, isn't it? Think about how much of our daily lives, for many people, is dictated by the need to be liked, to fit in, to avoid criticism. It's almost ingrained in us from a young age. But this principle flips that completely on its head. It suggests that true strength and authenticity come from being willing to stand by your convictions, even if it means facing disapproval, dislike, or even outright hatred from some. It's not about seeking to be hated, of course. It's not about being intentionally abrasive or contrarian just for the sake of it. It's about having a solid internal compass, a set of principles and values that guide your actions, and being brave enough to follow that compass regardless of whether it's the popular route. Imagine someone faced with a difficult decision where doing the right thing, according to their own values, is likely to make them unpopular. Someone who fears being hated might compromise, water down their stance, or even abandon their principles altogether to avoid conflict or maintain social acceptance. But someone who doesn't fear being hated will choose the path of integrity, even if it's a lonely one. They understand that trying to please everyone is not only impossible but also a recipe for losing yourself in the process. This isn't about arrogance, it's about self-respect and the understanding that genuine authenticity sometimes requires you to be comfortable with not being universally adored. True self-worth comes from living in alignment with your own values, not from the fleeting approval of others. Number 4, empathy without attachment. This trait involves understanding and feeling with others without becoming overly invested or attached to their outcomes. It's about offering support, advice, or a listening ear without taking on the burden of solving others' problems, thereby maintaining personal boundaries while still being supportive. Empathy without attachment is such a crucial concept for maintaining both your own well-being and your ability to genuinely help others. Think about what happens when you become too attached to someone else's problems. You start to feel their stress, their anxiety, their pain as if it were your own. You get emotionally entangled in their situation, and suddenly, you're not just supporting them, you're carrying their burden alongside them. This can lead to burnout, resentment, and ultimately, it doesn't even truly help the other person in the long run because you're taking away their agency to solve their own problems. Empathy, on the other hand, is about understanding and acknowledging their feelings. It's about putting yourself in their shoes, seeing the situation from their perspective, and offering genuine compassion. It's saying, I see you, I hear you, I understand what you're going through, and I care. But the without attachment part is the key. It's about maintaining healthy boundaries. It's about being a supportive presence without becoming emotionally enmeshed. It means you can listen to a friend who's going through a tough time, offer advice if asked, or simply be there for them, but you don't take on their problem as your own personal mission to fix. You understand that ultimately, they are responsible for their own life and their own solutions. This approach allows you to be a consistent source of support without sacrificing your own emotional health. It's about being a strong, stable presence for others, a lighthouse rather than a ship caught in the same storm. Number 5, their respect must be earned. Respect, in this context, isn't freely given but is something one must prove worthy of through actions, character, and consistency. It rejects the notion of automatic respect based on social status, age, or position, focusing instead on merit and integrity. Let's really delve into this idea that respect must be earned. Think about the world around us. How often do we see people being given respect simply because of their title, their position, their age, or their social standing? It's almost automatic in many societies. But this principle challenges that entirely. It argues that true, genuine respect isn't something you're entitled to, it's something you have to actively demonstrate you deserve through your behavior, your character, and the way you consistently interact with the world and others. It's a merit-based system of respect, where actions speak louder than titles. Consider someone in a position of authority who constantly abuses their power, is dishonest, or treats others poorly. They might have the title of boss or leader, but do they truly command respect? Probably not. People might obey them out of fear or obligation, but that's not genuine respect. Genuine respect is freely given, not demanded or imposed. It's earned through consistent displays of integrity, competence, fairness, and empathy. It's about showing that you are worthy of admiration and deference through your actions, not just your status. Someone who believes respect must be earned will treat everyone with basic courtesy, but they won't automatically grant deep respect until they see evidence of character and worthiness. They'll look at how you treat people, how you handle challenges, how you stand by your word. And over time, if you consistently demonstrate positive qualities, you will earn their respect, and that respect will be far more meaningful and lasting than any respect that was automatically given based on superficial factors. It's about valuing substance over status, and recognizing that true respect is a reward for consistently living a respectable life. If this philosophy strikes a chord with you, why not share your thoughts in the comments? Let's dive deep into why respect should be something earned through merit, not just handed out because of titles or appearances. Have you ever found yourself in a situation where someone expected respect without earning it? How did that make you feel? And if you know a Sigma male out there living this truth, do them a favor and share this video with them. They'll appreciate the nod to their way of life, and who knows, it might resonate even more than you think. Invite them to join the Sigma Male Community channel, where we're all about celebrating authenticity, integrity, and the kind of respect that's truly deserved. Let's expand our circle, share these insights, and build a community that values substance over superficiality. Drop your experiences, your stories, or even your questions below. Let's make this a conversation that matters. Number 6. No obligation to please everyone. This principle recognizes that attempting to satisfy everyone's expectations is not only impossible but also detrimental to one's self-respect and authenticity. It promotes setting personal boundaries, accepting that not everyone will approve, and living according to one's own standards rather than societal pressures. Expanding on no obligation to please everyone really gets to the heart of personal freedom and self-respect. Think about how much energy and time people waste trying to bend over backwards to accommodate everyone else's desires and expectations. It's a never-ending, and ultimately futile, task. Because the truth is, no matter what you do, you will never please everyone. People have different tastes, different values, different opinions, and often, those differences are irreconcilable. Trying to navigate this minefield of conflicting expectations is not only exhausting but also leads to a loss of self. You start to become a chameleon, changing yourself to fit whatever you think others want, and in the process, you lose sight of who you truly are and what you truly want. This principle is about liberating yourself from that impossible burden. It's about recognizing that your primary obligation is to yourself, to your own values, and to your own well-being. It's about setting healthy boundaries and understanding that saying no to others is often saying yes to yourself. It's not about being selfish or inconsiderate, it's about being realistic and self-respectful. It means accepting that some people will inevitably disapprove of your choices, your actions, or even just who you are, and that's okay. You can't control how others feel, but you can control how you live your own life. And living authentically, according to your own standards, is far more valuable than chasing the impossible dream of universal approval. It's about finding peace in self-acceptance and understanding that true happiness comes from within, not from the external validation of pleasing everyone else. Number 7. Selective with their energy. Living this way means being mindful of where one's time, effort, and emotions are invested. It's about prioritizing activities and relationships that contribute to personal growth, goals, or well-being, and avoiding those that are draining or meaningless. Let's explore what it truly means to be selective with their energy. Think about energy as a finite resource, like money in your bank account. You wouldn't just spend your money randomly on things you don't need or that don't bring you any value, right? You'd want to be thoughtful about where you invest it, focusing on things that are important to you, that will benefit you in the long run, or that bring you genuine joy. Being selective with your energy is the same concept, but applied to your time, effort, and emotional capacity. It's about recognizing that you only have so much to give in a day, in a week, in a lifetime. And if you spread that energy too thin, on things that are draining, meaningless, or don't align with your goals and values, you'll end up feeling depleted, unfulfilled, and potentially resentful. This principle is about conscious prioritization. It's about taking stock of where your energy is currently going and making deliberate choices to redirect it towards things that truly matter. This might mean saying no to commitments that don't excite you or that feel like obligations rather than genuine choices. It might mean limiting your exposure to draining people or situations. It might mean actively seeking out activities and relationships that are energizing, that inspire you, and that contribute to your personal growth and well-being. It's about being proactive in managing your energy, rather than passively letting it be consumed by whatever comes your way. It's about creating a life that is sustainable and fulfilling, where you feel energized and purposeful, because you're consciously investing your precious energy in the right places. Number 8. Charisma without neediness. This charisma arises from a place of self-assuredness rather than a desire to be noticed or validated. It's about having a natural appeal that comes from confidence and authenticity, not from trying to impress or win over others. Let's really unpack this idea of charisma without neediness. Think about the difference between someone who is genuinely charismatic and someone who is just desperately trying to be liked or noticed. The needy person often comes across as, well, needy. They might be overly eager to please, constantly seeking approval, and their charm feels forced and inauthentic. True charisma, on the other hand, is effortless. It draws people in naturally, without the person even trying. And this principle suggests that this kind of genuine charisma stems from a place of self-assurance, from a deep-seated sense of inner confidence and authenticity. It's not about trying to impress anyone, it's about being comfortable and content in your own skin. When someone is secure in themselves, they don't need external validation to feel worthy. This lack of neediness is incredibly attractive. It projects an aura of strength and independence that naturally draws people in. Think of someone who walks into a room and commands attention without saying a word or trying to be the center of attention. It's not about being loud or flashy, it's about a quiet confidence that radiates from within. This kind of charisma isn't learned from a book or practiced in a mirror, it's a byproduct of genuine self-acceptance and inner peace. It's about being so comfortable with who you are, flaws and all, that you don't feel the need to put on a show or try to be someone you're not. And paradoxically, it's this very lack of neediness, this absence of desperation for approval, that makes people genuinely want to be around you and drawn to your authentic presence. Number 9, they don't overcompensate for flaws. Instead of hiding or trying to make up for imperfections, this approach embraces them as part of one's character. It's about self-acceptance and understanding that flaws can be humanizing, making one more relatable and genuine, rather than attempting to project an image of perfection. Let's dive deeper into this idea of not overcompensating for flaws. Think about how much pressure society puts on us to be perfect, to present an idealized image of ourselves to the world. We're bombarded with images of flawless beauty, effortless success, and unwavering happiness. And it's easy to feel like we need to hide our imperfections, to mask our vulnerabilities, to project an image of perfection even when it's completely inauthentic. But this principle suggests a different approach, a more human approach. It argues that instead of trying to hide or overcompensate for our flaws, we should embrace them as an integral part of who we are. It's about self-acceptance, recognizing that nobody is perfect, and that our imperfections are actually what make us unique, relatable, and ultimately, more human. Think about someone who is constantly trying to project an image of perfection. It often comes across as forced, inauthentic, and even a bit off-putting. People can sense when someone is trying too hard to be something they're not. But when someone is comfortable with their flaws, when they can acknowledge their weaknesses and even laugh at themselves a little, it's incredibly refreshing and endearing. It makes them more relatable, more trustworthy, and more genuine. It's about understanding that flaws aren't something to be ashamed of or hidden away, they are part of the human experience. They are what make us individuals, and embracing them, rather than overcompensating for them, is a sign of self-acceptance and inner strength. It's about being real, being authentic, and recognizing that true connection comes from vulnerability, not from the illusion of perfection. Number 10, minimalism in relationships. This involves valuing deep, quality relationships over numerous superficial ones. It's about investing in a few significant connections that are mutually enriching, rather than spreading oneself thin across a broad but shallow social network, recognizing that quality trumps quantity in human interaction. Let's explore the concept of minimalism in relationships in more detail. Think about your social circle. Do you have a huge number of acquaintances, people you know casually, or do you have a smaller, more intimate circle of close friends and meaningful connections? In today's world, especially with social media, it's easy to accumulate a vast network of superficial connections. We can have hundreds or even thousands of friends or followers online, but how many of those relationships are truly deep, meaningful, and mutually supportive? This principle suggests that it's far more valuable to focus on cultivating a smaller number of high-quality relationships than to spread yourself thin across a large, shallow social network. It's about prioritizing depth over breadth, quality over quantity. Think about the energy and time required to maintain relationships. If you have hundreds of casual acquaintances, you're constantly expending energy on surface-level interactions, small talk, and maintaining appearances. This can be exhausting and leave you feeling drained and unfulfilled. But if you focus your energy on a few key relationships, you can invest more deeply in those connections. You can have more meaningful conversations, offer and receive genuine support, and build bonds that are truly enriching and lasting. It's about recognizing that human connection isn't about collecting as many contacts as possible, it's about nurturing and cherishing the relationships that truly matter. It's about quality interactions that bring joy, support, and growth, rather than the superficial validation of a large but ultimately shallow social network. It's about investing in relationships that nourish your soul, rather than just filling your social calendar. As we conclude this exploration into the enigmatic world of the Sigma male, we hope you've gained a deeper understanding of why these individuals aren't just another face in the crowd of nice guys. Their journey isn't about gaining likes or fitting into societal norms, it's about living a life that resonates with their core values, challenging us all to reconsider what true strength and integrity look like. Think for a moment about the core principles we've discussed. Reflect on the idea of action over words. Isn't there a deep wisdom in prioritizing deeds over empty pronouncements? From a certain perspective, this isn't just about building trust with others, it's about building trust with yourself. It's about aligning your inner intentions with your outward actions, creating a life that is consistent and grounded in reality, not in fleeting promises or boasts. It's a quiet strength, a resolve that is built through demonstrable action, a personal philosophy that resonates deeply with the idea of focusing on what is within your control, your own actions. In a culture that often rewards conformity, the Sigma male stands as a beacon of authenticity, reminding us that being true to oneself might not always be the popular choice, but it's certainly the most rewarding. We've journeyed through the layers of what makes a Sigma male, from their quiet confidence to their disregard for superficial validation, painting a picture that might not be universally admired but is undeniably compelling. Consider too the principle that kindness is tactical, not obligatory. This isn't about coldness, but rather a discerning wisdom in how we expend our emotional energy. It encourages a mindful approach to compassion, suggesting that true kindness isn't about indiscriminate generosity, but about thoughtful action aimed where it can genuinely make a difference, or where it is truly deserved. It's about recognizing your own limits, protecting your own resources, so that when you do choose to be kind, it comes from a place of genuine strength and intent, not from a sense of obligation or societal pressure. This selective kindness resonates with a focus on virtuous action, choosing wisely where your positive influence will be most effective. We've also explored the concept of not fearing being hated. In a world obsessed with external approval, this principle offers a profound liberation. It speaks to the strength of inner conviction, to the courage required to stand by your principles even when faced with disapproval or dislike. It's not about seeking conflict, but about prioritizing your internal compass over the fleeting winds of public opinion. This is a powerful stance, one that aligns with the idea that true freedom comes from within, from being unburdened by the need for universal acceptance, and instead, being anchored to your own sense of right and wrong. And what of empathy without attachment? This is a delicate balance, isn't it? It's about cultivating compassion while maintaining inner equilibrium. It recognizes the importance of understanding and feeling with others, offering support and understanding, yet crucially, without becoming entangled in their emotional turmoil. It's about offering a steady hand and a listening ear, being a source of strength for others without taking on their burdens as your own. This speaks to the importance of reasoned action and emotional resilience, being present and supportive, while safeguarding your own inner peace. Let's not forget the vital notion that respect must be earned. This principle rejects automatic deference based on status or position, instead emphasizing merit, integrity, and consistent positive action. It's a call for a world where worth is judged not by titles, but by character and deeds. This is about living a life that is worthy of admiration, building respect through sustained effort and virtuous conduct, rather than demanding it through entitlement or expectation. True respect, earned through demonstrable worth, is a far more solid foundation than any respect that is merely granted superficially. Think also about the freedom found in understanding there is no obligation to please everyone. This isn't about indifference, but about a realistic acceptance of human nature and the impossibility of universal approval. It's about setting healthy boundaries, prioritizing your own values and well-being, and understanding that living authentically will inevitably mean not everyone will agree with you, and that this is not only acceptable, but often a necessary consequence of living a life true to yourself. It's a liberation from the endless pursuit of external validation, focusing instead on inner congruence and self-respect. We discussed being selective with energy. This is a crucial aspect of living a focused and meaningful life. It's about mindful investment of your time, effort, and emotional resources. It's about discerning what truly nourishes you, what aligns with your goals and values, and consciously directing your energy towards those areas, while strategically withdrawing from draining or meaningless pursuits. This resonates with the idea of living in accordance with nature, recognizing your finite resources and using them wisely to cultivate a life of purpose and fulfillment, rather than depletion and distraction. Consider charisma without neediness. This isn't about manufactured charm, but a natural magnetism that arises from self-assurance and authenticity. It's a quiet confidence that attracts others, not through seeking validation, but through simply being grounded and comfortable in one's own skin. This is about inner strength radiating outwards, a natural appeal that comes from self-acceptance and a lack of dependence on external approval, a powerful and genuine form of influence. And what about not overcompensating for flaws? This is a profound act of self-acceptance and authenticity. It's about embracing your imperfections as part of your human experience, recognizing that flaws are not weaknesses to be hidden, but rather aspects of your character that can make you more relatable, more human, and ultimately, more genuine. This vulnerability, this honesty about imperfection, fosters deeper connection and demonstrates a secure sense of self that doesn't need to project an image of flawless perfection. Finally, we touched upon minimalism in relationships. This isn't about isolation, but about valuing depth over breadth in human connection. It's about prioritizing a few meaningful, mutually enriching relationships over a vast network of superficial acquaintances. It's about investing in quality over quantity, recognizing that true fulfillment in relationships comes from deep connection and mutual support, rather than the fleeting validation of a large but shallow social circle. This emphasis on quality over quantity, on substance over superficiality, aligns with a focus on what truly endures and nourishes the inner self. Thank you for joining us on this enlightening adventure with Sigma Male Community, where we strive to shed light on the nuances of masculinity, leadership, and personal growth. If you found value in our discussion today, don't forget to subscribe to Sigma Male Community for more insights into living life on your terms. Keep questioning, keep learning, and keep being true to who you are, because here at Sigma Male Community, we believe that the path to genuine respect and self-fulfillment starts with authenticity. Until next time, keep striving for that inner truth that sets you apart. Remember, you're part of the Sigma Male Community.